This small town is the American dream in so many ways. And yet, what's under the surface is anything but that.
Things feel grounded, but something feels slightly ajar.
When I'm getting involved with a project, I start to see certain images of what this world is going to look and feel like.
We've taken great care with this story from the beginning to get the facts right. We took every step we could to transport the audience to 1980 Wylie, Texas.
When I first got on set, I was like, what is happening? The whole town has this larger-than-life look.
It's been amazing shooting here. These towns, they're so specific. I've never really seen anything like it. It's fabulous.
And we're rolling.
Pick a mark.
Shooting on location brings a reality to it. There are things that visually only exist here.
There are a lot of great bones in Texas, but filming in these smaller towns, there's still so much work for our department. We've had to add some signage, take down some signage, just kind of like bringing people back in time. For the Gore house, with locations, we found a house that was very similar. The brick and the shutters.
Candy. Black hole and you could barge right in, right?
As for the interior, it was a fun opportunity to re-explore the 70s. The furniture is a little bit more matchy-matchy. I found all these vintage wallpapers, and we were able to bring them back to life.
The work of Suzuki in our house was astoundingly brilliant. The fabric was so full and rich. I felt perfectly in the period and perfectly in character.
The interiors were probably my favorite sets. Really captured these worlds that the different families were in.
It's so important to me to have a look that's very iconic to each character.
Mom.
Present.
So at the Montgomery house, I kept Candy the more happy, brighter colors, more funky. Candy spends so much time in the kitchen, so I wanted it to have a lot of depth in the backgrounds.
My favorite part of this house is the amount of bizarre trinkets. They're everywhere. What's been remarkable to see is how production design taken over motels.
Finding locations on this was very challenging. You'd think, how hard can it be to find two 70s motels? Incredibly hard. If it still exists, it's in terrible shape. Maybe the mattress hasn't been changed for about 50 years.
The two motels, we found the looks we wanted, but they were pretty run down. I think one of them we used like 100 gallons of paint on the exterior of it all. I pulled a lot of research to make the interiors, which was fun, just seeing what that world was back in the day.
A lot of places have gone faceless from our production team.
Feels a little sleazy.
I think that's what I like about it.
This is a story about church-going people, so it was important to create the world of this church. To make the church complex, it's 3 different locations. So we have this beautiful, classic white church with the beautiful steeple in the countryside, but then right next to it needs to be a new church that they build.
So we had the next challenge of trying to figure out what the new church was, where that goes, green screen it. We wanted something very stylized, very 70s, beautiful, beautiful interiors. There were so many steps to this church, but it plays a pretty big part in this world.
It's a church that brings all these people in our world together. It is everything to this community.
I think that production design not only connects an audience, but it connects the actors. We take the pages and we interpret them and create a visual world.
The intention is always to create a world that feels real, but being absolutely accurate to the period detail.
The detail of production design, it informs everything in building a character.
We had such incredible designers, and everyone building the world was just working at such an unbelievable level.
All the sets we go to, they look like a time capsule. There's that real Texas feeling of like, go big or go home.